So overshadowed by Pompeii and other more touristically popular sites is Ostia Antica, the ancient ruins of a 2,000-year-old city. Thanks to harbor silt and natural preservations, the city has been amazingly preserved in details such as artworks, foundations of homes, even an entire ancient Roman theater can still be seen and walked in today. Coming from the Latin word os, which means mouth, Ostia Antica was founded at the mouth of the Tiber River in the early centuries BCE. At first, it was just a port city to attack from marine activities, marine attacks, but it later became a giant bustling port for trade and merchant activity. Today, you can still see the frescoes and everything, and we'll be exploring the ancient Roman theater that was built around the same time, around the turn of the time from BC to current era. And we're going to explore the architecture and everything that's still there today. Estimated to have been built in the 1st century current era, under the reign of Augustus, this Roman theater was built to hold 2,500 people and later expanded to hold 4,000 people. On the outside, in front of the theater, was the square of guilds that had dozens of offices for the different merchants that worked and lived here when it became a big port city for the Roman Empire. There would be an export and trade of different foods, different trade materials that were necessary. When it was abandoned by the 5th century, all of this was left to become ruins, and excavations wouldn't begin until around the 18th century. Unlike Greek theaters that were usually carved out of hillsides, Roman theaters were often constructed in wide empty spaces. This specific theater was made using extensive bricks, but also the Roman favored travertine and lots of marble as well. The lower level of seating, the cavea, can be entered on the ground level and would have also had access to shops that lined the outside of the theater. 3 or 4 staircases lead further up and are made of marble. Though lots of the outside has been ruined, remnants of theatrical masks can still be seen from the outside of the theater. Towards the end of the centuries that it was in use, towards the end of the 5th century specifically, the lower arches were bricked up and boarded up in order to use this area as a fortress for protection. Past its peak in the 4th century, natural disasters that occurred to the theater, primarily earthquakes and the damage incurred by them, were not deemed important enough to fix for the theater. By the 5th century, this entire city was entirely abandoned as a ghost town. The 12th century saw a small little activity as a small band of people came to visit a nearby chapel. Excavations unofficially began in the Baroque period as architects looted materials that could be found in this theater, including the marble, the travertine, and occasional little bits of metal, and the city as a whole. Under different times, the papacy and the Italian government took interest in these ruins. Under Benito Mussolini, excavations really began, and they started digging up and finding the remnants of this entire city. Today, it's open to the public, who are free to walk around, hang out, and explore what lies beneath all of Rome. The theater itself is still used for cultural activities, performances, dances, and other stuff to help these next generations continue to remember the past.